We welcome you. I'm Stephen Copley, Reverend Stephen Copley. I chair the Arkansas Friendship Coalition, and the Arkansas Friendship Coalition was begun at the end of October last year with the purpose stated that we did not want to see any state or local laws that were punitive toward immigrants passed in Arkansas. And here's the reason why. Because first of all, immigration law is a federal issue. And we agreed that reform of the immigration system needs to occur, but it needs to reside with the U.S. Congress and the federal government. And so we did not want to see any legislation, punitive legislation passed in Arkansas. Well, we come today with a study that was commissioned by the Oklahoma Bankers Association. And the study is about the economic impact of the Oklahoma Taxpayer and Citizen Protection Act of 2007, which went into effect at the end of last year in Oklahoma. It was their immigration law, immigration legislation. This particular study is a computable general equilibrium analysis. But what I want today is just to give a snapshot, because we think that it's very, very important for Arkansas. And the press has copies already of that report. Here's the heart of the report, and then I'm going to talk about how it connects to Arkansas. The focus of the report is on foreign-born residents of the state of Oklahoma. In 2007, the gross state product of Oklahoma is estimated to be just under $144 billion. Now, what is the gross state product? Gross state product is the market value of final goods and services produced within the state. So you get a snapshot of the well-being of the state's economy with the gross state product. So last year, estimated to be just under $144 billion a year in Oklahoma. In this study, in this model, it presents findings associated with low, medium, and high foreign-born outflow. So as a result of the legislation, how many foreign-born folks, how many immigrants will leave the state of Oklahoma? And what economic impact will that have on the state? So the first is a low outflow. The low outflow corresponds to an initial reduction in foreign-born labor of about 25,000 workers. So if 25,000 foreign-born workers leave the state of Oklahoma as a result of this legislation, the study projects in the short run a loss of $785 million from the Oklahoma gross state product. $785 million. That's with the low outflow. The medium outflow in the report corresponds to an initial reduction in foreign-born labor in Oklahoma of 50,000 workers. If that occurs as a result of the legislation, the study shows a projected short-run loss of $1.77 billion from the gross state product in Oklahoma. Finally, high outflow. The high outflow corresponds to an initial reduction in foreign-born labor of about 90,000 workers. 90,000 workers in Oklahoma leave as a result of the legislation. The study shows a projected short-run loss of over $3 billion from the gross state product. So, what does an Oklahoma study about the impact of a piece of legislation have to do with Arkansas? Well, when we launched the Friendship Coalition, one of the things that we've been concerned about, and it was borne out by the study that the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation had commissioned, was the huge economic impact, positive impact, that immigrants have on the economy of Arkansas. What we want to come today to say is our neighbor to the west, Oklahoma, after having passed a state law regarding immigration that was punitive, the projection is their economy will begin to suffer greatly. What we want to argue is that, again, that no state or local punitive laws are passed toward immigrants because they provide such a huge economic impact, huge economic positive impact to the state of Arkansas. We can see what Oklahoma is about to go through. We certainly don't want that to occur in the state of Arkansas, especially when our economy may be entering a time of recession. So it's very, very important. Again, we're here to say that we would encourage legislators, city councils, not to pass any state and local laws that would be punitive economically toward immigrants. Leave that to the U.S. Congress to help reform our immigration laws. Thank you very much, and I'll entertain some questions.
How can you differentiate the difference between, on this study, the foreign-born workers and the impact of how the economy, and just the fact that the economy is slowing down? How can you determine that? Oh, yes, that is because foreign-born workers are negative. It's not because people are spending less.
Well, that's a good question, and one I wish we had an economist here to be able to analyze that fine detail. In the study, some of their measurements, if my recollection serves me right, they try to factor that into the analysis so that it would be removed from there. But yeah, that's an excellent question.
Well, they're projecting that they're going to lose 3% of their workforce. And one of the consequences of losing that large a portion of your workforce is that production lines are going to either be shortened or shifts are going to be eliminated, and factories throughout Oklahoma is a large part of the immigrant communities employed in manufacturing, particularly meat processing. So that's going to that, and this is a projection. So there's, if you start shutting down production lines and people start losing, start losing that production, it's going to affect your economy. They also say, it's kind of interesting, that when you start shutting down these production lines, which affect purely blue-collar workers, you're going to see layoffs in the white-collar community because the technicians and the managers who oversee these production lines that are being shut down due to the loss of workers, they're no longer needed. And so that will not only cause layoffs in the white-collar community, will also depress wages in the white-collar community because now there's more of those people out there looking for this, chasing the same job.
And did you know that this proposal for the Initiative Act before you called this press conference? Did you know that was?
No, our press conference was called early last week, well before we knew anything about the Initiative Act.
So will you speak to that and what you think about this Initiative Act and
Yeah. First of all, what we'd like to say about the Initiated Act is it's going to be quite a challenge to collect the signatures. But what's interesting about the Initiated Act, first of all, it does state that it refers to public and state benefits and federal benefits, that somebody has to show proof of citizenship or proof of their identity to receive those. Many of the federal benefits already have those properties attached to them. So in some ways, it's a duplication, I believe, to ask for programs like Medicaid, food stamps, and some of the federal programs that it's referring to already don't allow folks who are here in the country without documents to receive those, and requires proof of identity as well. So there's some repetition there. And again, we'd like to say we don't want to see any sort of legislation or ballot initiative that would be punitive for the immigrant community because of its effect both humanitarian and economically. In a way, it's kind of a litmus test to see if those who are opposed to the position that we hold, who would like to see immigrants removed from the country, to see what their strength is, to see if they can collect the signatures that are necessary for the issue.
I have a question. UMS built 4 new buildings in the last 2.5 years, all Mexican labor, illegal Mexicans, and the governor approved it. Look where we started.